Well, hello everybody and welcome. Mark Walker here. Let's get the show on the road for you. Thank you so much for arriving early. And here I am. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for tuning in this evening. I don't know how long this webinar is going to be, but the first thing I'd like to say is thanks again for taking time out of your busy schedule to click on the link and sign up and come and have a look at what I'm going to share with you tonight. And that's really all you want to know about property leaflets and how to use them correctly in your property business. Now, what I normally do, and if you know how I work, I give lots and lots of free value. Besides my training courses and my private one-to-one mentoring that I do, I give lots and lots of free items. And what I'm going to share with you tonight, and you'll notice on your screen straight away, is actually an offer. So there's nothing to sell here tonight because there's already an offer that's on the screen. And that offer is for my 4-week intensive not one-to-one, it's my 4-week intensive wealth from property course, which I launched at the beginning of the week, and basically I've got 1 seat left for the 8th of August. So I'm going to leave that on the screen for everyone tonight, so that when you're ready, or if during this free webinar extravaganza, you decide you want to come and spend some more time with me. And for those who don't know about the wealth from property 4-week intensive, that's a whole 10 hours in a very, very close-knit around the table, 4 of us, with me sharing all of my property strategies gained over the last 25 years, going right the way through to offers, software, tools, legal paperwork, in fact, leaflets as well. One of the offers is I actually will give you 10,000 leaflets as part of your attendance to the Wealth from Property course. So that's massive, that's massive value for a start. But what I've done this evening is I've started off with the last seat that's available. So at any time you decide to click on that link and buy that particular place, that's yours, it'll be secured, and that will disappear off the screen for you. So back to leaflets. Very interesting. I've had quite a few questions come in, and I like everyone to ask questions because I am a solutions provider. For those who may not know me, and again, I don't know where you found the link today, so it could be an email, could be following me through social media, but for those who aren't fully aware of who I am, where I've come from, what I've done, I basically started my first business when I was 8, ran that until I was 11 years of age, went to senior school, came straight out having done O-levels at the Royal Grammar School, Worcester, went straight into running Worcester's largest nightclub at the time. I'm still friends with the gentleman who trained me how to run a business. I was only 17 and a half, everybody, so I've been running multi-million-pound businesses for a very long time. Still friends with the gentleman who trained me, still friends with the DJ that I worked with, and that's really where I honed my skills for marketing and promotion and creating multiple streams of income. So I think after sort of 30 years of being in business, I think it does qualify me to share with you why I know that leaflets are a very powerful tool. The interesting thing with leaflets is we have to understand that what we are attempting to do is to obtain information from somebody we've never met before. What we need to understand is it's not so much about the message that we need to share in the leaflet, it's about the message of attracting the individual. Some messages that I see, people say, well, Mark, if I put this on there, is that a good thing? If I put that on there, is it a good thing? Shall I use this color scheme? Shall I use that color scheme? Etc., etc. And the key thing is to always remember that the person who's going to be picking your leaflet up may not require your service on the day that it was delivered through their letterbox. It is more about the branding and having the contact information on there for the individual to make contact with you. So really a big bold headline offering a solution followed by, maybe 1 or 2 points of action or calls to action. So for example, a nice bold telephone number or an email address. I do see individuals that have a leaflet, and indeed we get inquiries to my company, Smart Property Leaflets, with individuals who have designed their own template and spent many, many days and tried different fonts and different colors and different words, etc., etc. And they send those over for my graphics team to have a look at and say, Mark, what do you think of that? Now, I don't answer every email because I'm a very busy guy, but my team will always ping a question over to me that they're unable to answer. But the majority of the individuals that do get pinged over to me, it's about too much information on the leaflet. You know, there'll be a company name, a company logo, a phone number, a mobile phone number, a text this SMS number to get an immediate response, an email address, and all of this is condensed. And the thing to always remember is that you will absolutely confuse the reader. Cut down as much as you can on the information that you put on the leaflets. Really, just 2 calls to action is fine. Any more than that, as I say, and you will absolutely confuse the individual. So what message do we need to put out there? What message do we need to convey? Well, the first thing to remember is by cutting down a lot of the information, what we're really doing is just getting rid of our ego of being in business. It doesn't matter. The person with the property challenge is not interested that you are a property investor who requires their property in order for you to make some money. Everybody knows it's a business, and everybody knows that ultimately they have to give something away. So by giving something away, what the individual is really doing is they are giving you their property problem. And so you really have to be clued up on how to solve property problems, because having a response come back from a leaflet, if you're not already clued up on some of the questions you will be asked, some of the answers you need to give, some of the answers you need to give for the information that you put onto your leaflet, and that's paramount. There are many individuals copying other people's leaflets, but for example, it's no good saying we've paid cash for houses when someone rings you up and then you fumble over a telephone trying to explain a lease option process because you've just learnt it from your mentor. That just won't work, guys and girls. It just won't. You'll look a fool. You'll be embarrassed yourself, I can assure you, because when I do role playing, even in an office, people get embarrassed and we know each other. So having a stranger on the phone, there is no point in trying to fumble through an offer that you don't have. If you have cash, and I am a cash investor developer, and my students know this, when my students come on the training course, I actually give proof of the funds we have allocated for that particular day. So that's one of the things that we share. We can say, look, you're sitting around the table, you've invested in a day's worth of training with myself, which will go over the next 3 weeks, making the 4-week course. And hey guys, this is the money we're going to be looking to invest in the deals that you bring to the table based on what I train you. And the interesting thing is that leaflets can be a part of that process. It takes a little bit longer. You know, it takes around about 4 or 5 attempts to someone's address before they will pick up the phone because they've got your leaflet. But rest assured, individuals with good quality leaflets will hang on to that leaflet for a very long time. I've had individuals call me a year after a leaflet has been delivered and they've actually moved house, and then they've called to say, actually, I've moved house, my property actually had somebody that was repossessed. So somebody was repossessed, couldn't help them, of course, but then they called because they had another friend in a similar situation, and when they moved house, they came across the leaflet. And there are other examples like that. And the other thing that I do with my leaflets is I put them in my window. As you may know, I have offices in the middle of Worcester City. And that is where all of the training takes place. That's why it's very very intimate. It's in one of our consulting rooms around a table. And so we put those leaflets in the window so that they attract individuals that walk past the window. And on the days that we open the office, then we can actually see people. We can do some real-time market survey. We can change the style of leaflet that we put in the window. But what we're doing all the time is we're putting a headline out there. So what I've done for you this evening is from the free report that we offer, and for those that haven't visited it, if you go to smartpropertyleaflets.com, you'll actually be able to download, just put this up there, you'll be able to download a free report. It's how to find motivated sellers using leaflets. It's an insider report. It was jointly co-authored by myself and a business partner a while ago. And the contents on the inside are very valid, very prevalent, and are still applicable today. And it actually gives you all of the information and the documentation you require. Not only the information about how to go out and do the leafleting, but the documentation for should you decide to employ someone to go and do the leaflet deliveries for you as opposed to doing them yourself, or even doing a joint venture with somebody in your area. and I'll come on to joint venturing in a while. So I'd highly recommend after the webinar, you go and pop along if you're not already on the list. It's a free report. Download that, read the information there, and that'll give you a lot of free content as well. Now, in terms of how the leaflet should look, again, there are right and there are wrongs. Or I should say there are no right and wrongs, there's only consequence. There's no right colour, there's no wrong colour, there's no right content, no wrong content, but there are consequences for putting too much information or having a garbled message. So, for example, if you're going to do a colourful leaflet, having one that looks like this, which quite clearly shows, and we're talking to individuals, you know, sell your house fast, you know, problem property solvers here to help. You know, that sort of hammers home a very, very strong message for the person that will pick this up. Now, I've printed these off, as you can see, on A4 for tonight. The leaflets that we print are actually, we print A4, A5, and A6, just so you know. But the most popular leaflet size, of course, is A5. We use 130 GSM paper. So I know you might be able to hear the noise of it. It's a good quality paper. It does mean that when you fold it and put it through the letterbox, what happens when it hits the floor is it springs back. So we're not going to end up with some sort of tissue paper shoved through someone's letterbox. Whilst I mention that, the 130 GSM, by the way, we also use lithographic printing technology. That's very important. There are some cheaper leaflet companies out there that will print your leaflets to your own design, but just be very wary. A lot of those use digital print because they use those big digital printers to whack out, you know, tens of thousands of leaflets. But ours are lithographic. So as you might be able to tell if I can get the sun that's coming through my office window here, as the sun fades very quickly on this July evening. But you can probably see it's quite glossy and shiny. And that's what you want. You want something that lands through someone's letterbox that just shows quality. So we've covered the sell your house fast. I mean, that is a pretty powerful statement to be making to somebody if they're struggling to sell their house. I should just bring it a little bit closer. You can see in the red box, it says no more financial problems. Again, it's making a statement. What we're trying to do is capture the homeowner who may well be motivated. That's what we're looking for, motivated sellers. But we're trying to capture that initial interest of the person that's just got in from a hard day's work. Maybe they're obviously, you know, struggling in a position financially. They walk in, it's sell your house fast, get rid of your property problem. That's really going to attract somebody to go, what's this all about, and read it. Another one we do that works very well for ourselves is this one here. It's a traffic light. Okay, so it's a red, yellow, and green. And we're saying, you know, need to sell your house fast. Well, what's the amber section? Well, you're facing repossession, are you relocating, mortgage, you've got probate sale, or, you know, are you a reluctant landlord? You know, somebody that's just got a house, they don't know what to do with it. And ultimately, you know, we then have our call to action at the bottom. And as you can see, the call to action here is a big phone number and a website. So again, going back to what I said originally, we're keeping it quite concise. You know, traffic lights, red, yellow, green. Green is call to action. Telephone number, website if you have one. Always good to direct individuals over to a website so they can have a little look outside of the leaflet about more content. You can keep your leaflets, you know, as plain and simple as 3 different sections. You can keep them even plainer with, you know, the ugly marketing technique of, you know, bright yellow with a very simple sketch diagram and some writing on there. Now we sell as many of these as we do of these through the company. So again, I know it's not about my personal taste, it's about individuals, and everybody out there listening tonight, you'll have your own taste. Some people like sort of plain things and just a little bit of writing and a little sketch diagram. And I know that others like, you know, lots of bold colors, lots of writing, lots of images. This one here, for example, is a sort of a bit of a mixture. You know, we're looking at, you know, fast cash for your property. And at the bottom, then there's, you know, call to action, etc., etc. And it's got a picture of cash. Some people would pick that up off the floor and, you know, that might not appeal to them. The beauty of buying the templates through my company is that we can change this image here for you. So if you have a specific image on any of the templates, part of the offer price enables you to change, and we do a free proof. So we get a lot of our customers they're coming along, downloading the free insider report, reading information, utilizing the paperwork, and then actually just deciding that they're not going to sit for a week or 2 weeks learning how to use Photoshop or Adobe or any of the other graphics software that's out there. They actually get a free proof, and we don't charge for that proof. And we probably get a retention of about 90% of everyone that takes a proof from us, who then goes on to place an order with us. And the key thing is that as a customer, first of all, you're working with me. I get to see the orders as they come through via my business systems. I get to recognize the names. And quite often, individuals that have placed 3 and 4 repeat orders will get a value-filled phone call from myself, organized by one of my support staff. But they will have a telephone call from me out of the blue. And I will thank them very much for their custom and see if I can help their business in some other way. Because the interesting thing is that from a mentoring point of view, everybody, it's not just about tonight being on a webinar and offering you the one and only seat that's left for the 8th of August, because I will change your life. Whoever takes that seat in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I will change your property investing career life forever. That's my personal guarantee to all of you. But it's not just about that offer, and it's not just about the leaflets. It shows me commitment. And I've always built my businesses on commitment from my customers and commitment to my suppliers. And that's how I've grown all of my businesses, by commitment. You show me a little bit of commitment tonight when you take that last seat from me, and I will give you a lifetime's worth of support. And for everyone on this webinar tonight who I've known for a while, and for those of you that follow me through social media, you'll see I'm a very active business person. I used to speak on stage. For those that have tuned in tonight and are not aware, I used to speak on stage for some of the top UK property training companies. And I stepped away from that. I stepped away from it because what I actually found is you get massive value working with very small teams of clients and students and mentees. I've always done one-on-one business consulting. I've always had a mastermind group of some sort in operation. But in terms of getting maximum value out of me, if I stand on a stage in front of 40, 50, 60 people, to me that's a more of a generic training. And individuals don't have an opportunity to connect after you've done a whole day. Whereas when we sit around a table and there's 4 of us, I'm teaching you all the different strategies I've used, right the way through from how to use a leaflet, a little bit more in depth than tonight, because I want to keep this to about 35, 45 minutes. So how to use the leaflets, the ones that I'm using this month, the deals that have come in this month because of them, the ones that have been in the window that have just generated me a deal that's probably going to make about £18,000 and give me an equity share in the property that I'm actually helping a motivated seller with. Once I can share those bits of paperwork with you, then you'll get really motivated to go out and actually do it. Because it's not about just sitting here tonight and going, oh, go and get some leaflets, put them through the letterbox, and I wish you the very best. Just got a question come in. Vincenzo, thank you for that. The location of the event is my Worcester City office. In terms of how far away that is from everything, I am 3 doors away from Worcester Foregate Street Station. That's right in the middle of Worcester City. You can get direct links out of Birmingham. So wherever you are in the UK, get yourself to Birmingham. Train comes straight to Foregate Street. If you're coming by car, straight off at junction 6 or 7 of Worcester, junction 6 or 7 of Worcester, which is the M5. So again, if you're traveling from London, you can be here within 2 hours, from Birmingham, or from Manchester within 2 hours, Birmingham in less than an hour. So, you know, I've always kept it simple. I've always kept it at my offices because that's where my files are. That's where the live deals are. You have access to me for, as I say, 10 hours. The last training session, we started at 9 in the morning and we got out at 7:30. The one previous to that, one of my students, we were still talking away, but one of my students had to catch the train to go back home. So, you know, they missed out on probably about another 45 minutes of content. It isn't about getting individuals in there for the day and getting rid of everybody. I give up my whole Saturday because what I'm doing, that commitment I talked about earlier, is about you and me working together for the rest of your property career. we digress slightly. I've got another question that's just come in. Sorry, over here. Oh, okay, someone's asking about fly posting. I'll come back to fly posting in a while. So in terms of where we're based, as I say, Worcester City Centre. The next one is the 8th of August. That is a Saturday. Arrive for 9 o'clock. We finish, as I say, no earlier than 5:36, and we have gone on in the past. But let's get back to leaflets, because not everybody is here tonight to come on that day. So we've covered a number of different styles. Within Smart Property Leaflets, which is my company, we have over 50 styles of templates. Those templates have been used and tried and tested, and they all work equally as well. What I was saying earlier is that you have your own personal style. You might want some black and white ones. You might want, as we say, the ugly marketing style, just some black writing on yellow. Whatever it is that you have in mind, we can help you create as well. I should mention that. I have an awesome graphics team behind me. And I see the orders come in sometimes that are already pre-done, and they do offer a graphics service where they will, change the images, change a lot of the text, and almost recreate. There is an additional charge for, sort of an hour's work, whereas with the templates that we provide, you get a free proof. All we need to do is change the phone number, the name, etc. So that's why we can, within that pricing element, we can offer you that free proof. But we do offer a complete bespoke service. In saying that, it's important to remember you need to come up with the idea in the first place. I have seen questions where people have gone, can you design me a leaflet? I want it to have a house on it and it needs to attract people. Well, that's why I created smartpropertyleaflets.com back in 2012. Because when I was talking on stage and I was visiting all of the major networking events in the country and the property events, the PIN events, and down at the Berkshire Property Meet with Sylvie and Juswant, and obviously meeting Simon Zucchi and his speakers at his PIN events. When I chatted to people, because they recognised I was in the room and they came to see me and asked me about designing leaflets, or we got onto the subject of leaflets, it was something that I thought, well, everyone's sitting around, they're sitting at home on their computers, typing away, trying to be a graphic artist, taking images off Google. Some of them are copywritten. Some of them don't come out very well, and then you have to make sure you get all those little, what they call the bleed and crop marks around the edge, so that the printers obviously trim them to shape. Once you start trying to do all of that, you've got to be a graphics designer. My team can turn around a standalone template. For example, this template here is ready and waiting with my graphics team. All they need to do is change your phone number or put your email address or your web address, and that creates a proof. Every proof is watermarked. That's obviously to protect my business, because I don't want you taking my design and giving it to somebody else. That'd be very unethical. And I'd find out anyway, because people put them all over Facebook, and I do get to see those that copy. But we don't do that. We watermark all of our templates. Once you've agreed that you're happy with it, and it's very important, once you've agreed you're happy with that, ready to go to print proof, then we send you an invoice, you pay the invoice, and the graphics team forward it onto the printers, and you receive the leaflets to your door within 3 to 5 working days. And that's a free delivery service. So you're not paying one price for the leaflets and some surcharge on top. That includes everything. The graphics design, the printing cost, of course, for 5,000 A5 leaflets, and also the free delivery to your door. So that covers that. Let me just see, we've got another question that's come in. What size of leaflet do I recommend? Well, I always recommend A5. It is the most popular for putting through letterboxes. We, as I say, use 130 GSM paper, lithographic printed, and nice and shiny and glossy, because that looks really cool. Now, I've talked a little about the leaflets. So what we need to talk about now really is how to use them correctly. You go and choose any particular template that you desire. It is a personal choice. It's more about your brand image and the message that you want to put out to your local area. The key thing is, leaflets should be used very, very targetedly. There are 2 types of leafleting campaigns that you can do. One of them I refer to as carpet bombing, and one of them is a specific leaflet with a specific message to a specific area. So it's quite targeted. Carpet bombing is great. If you've got a marketing budget of £1,000 a month and you don't mind whether that £1,000 is for a couple of adverts in a paper, a couple of posters in a shop, some ugly marketing boards dotted around, or what I would say is just invest solely into leaflets. If you can invest, 150 to £200 a month into 10,000 leaflets, you're going to see a massive return on that investment compared to a board that's just hung up on someone's wall. So you have to have a budget. That's very important. One of the things I do with my Business Builder brand is I sit down with individuals and help them to create not only their brand, but I go a step back and help them create their business correctly. And the one thing you have to have is a budget of some sort. If you're sitting tonight listening to me with no budget at all, then I would certainly urge you to take that last seat with me on the 8th of August, because I'll be giving you 10,000 leaflets for a start, as well as then helping you to build your business up, and then investing my money into your projects to make sure you actually get some property deals. Because there'll be nothing worse than doing any property training when you then turn around to the mentor and they haven't got any money to invest in you. So I don't do that. That's why my course always sells out, and that's why I'm always investing and working with my students. When they bring the right deals to me, we look at them and we're able then to invest in those particular ones. So you've chosen a leaflet, you've chosen a template, we've got them printed for you, we've delivered them to your door. Now you ask yourself the question, what are you going to do? Well, first of all, if you'd have downloaded the free report, that will talk to you step by step on what you need to do within your leafleting business. But primarily you need to get them out to an area. So what you need to have done beforehand is you need to have looked at a specific area where you want to invest in. I do know individuals that have ordered leaflets for their local area, and then they've gone and had some external company deliver them, 50, 60, 70 miles away. It'd be a little bit like myself being in Worcester and giving all my leaflets to a company in the middle of Birmingham, and then taking phone calls for areas I'm not familiar with. A very good friend of mine, Mark Ianson, wrote a book which was the High Flyer's Guide to Leafleting, and in that book he actually talks about my company, smartpropertyleaflets.com, quite a lot. And he also talks in another book that he wrote, Dominate Your Ground, about working an individual patch. And it's very, very important to do that, everybody. Leaflets are not the be-all and end-all to property investing, because it goes much deeper than that. It's about structures and solutions and having cash available to invest in your motivated seller's property, whether it's just to do it as an assisted sale or whether to actually refurbish and sell on. But you need to have an individual working within your business that has that structure. So leaflets are not just some sort of green button, press it and everything's going to be rosy. You need to work with me so I can help you set up your property business correctly. But what leaflets do in a very small area is they focus and concentrate people about you, and you can get to know them. You know the areas where you live better than I do. So it will be no good me giving you a targeted leaflet campaign for your area, because I don't know it. I can tell you everything about Worcester. I can tell you where the LHA tenanted areas are, where sanctuary housing have most of their housing, where some commercial properties have just become available, where the executive houses are that are just about to be built. Therefore, there's no point. I hope there's not a motivated seller the moment they move into a new house. Maybe prejudging, but hopefully their mortgage is in place at least for the first few months, even if they do fall over. But ultimately, it's important that you get to know your area. So you have to dominate your ground, and then you have to target a specific area with a specific leaflet. As I say, all of these here, the manufacturing, the design, the concept, all the rest of it, all those headaches will go away tonight. You don't need to have any of those headaches. You just need to look at the templates, choose one, get them delivered to you. And then the Motivated Insider Seller Report will then talk to you about how you then deliver those leaflets. And one of the ways that I can teach you and share with you tonight about getting the leaflets delivered is to do a joint venture. Now, I'm in a fortunate position that I know a lot of business people, and only in the last few months we've done a deal with a company called Door to Door, who are a nationwide franchise company, and they obviously deliver other people's leaflets as well. So we've been very fortunate to work closely with one of the franchisees who's a friend of one of my business partners, and we had him come into the office and we explained how we'd like to work on a joint venture basis. And for that particular area that he covers, when we decide to do a targeted campaign, we deliver the leaflets to his premises and he delivers those on our behalf. Now, the beauty of doing a joint venture with somebody as opposed to just paying somebody is I certainly feel in my business that I am in business with that person. I'm not just paying for a service. I would imagine that everyone listening in tonight has had many people in their lives come up, or you've had people come up to you in your life and said, hey, I can help you with that. Oh, and by the way, here's my invoice. You know, that's not the way that I work. It's about helping people. Yes, we all have, you know, bills to pay and food to put on the table and the odd beer to take, etc. But you don't have to meet somebody for the first time and take every penny from them on the basis that, well, it might work for them or it might not work for me. To me, I've never been brought up that way, and I don't do that through my business. It's all about a little bit of give and take and playing with someone's resistance. Would you like to work with me? Yes, I would. What do I have to give you to deliver these leaflets? And a very, well, a round figure that I always use is £1,000 per completed deal. So if you've got somebody with 10,000 leaflets going into a targeted area, what you're saying to them is any completed deal, so we're talking about an assisted sale or maybe a small refurbishment, you will pay £1,000 for that completed deal. Let me be very specific here. It's not £1,000 per lead or £1,000 per incoming phone call. It's £1,000 per completed project. Now, that's enough to whet a delivery company's appetite. Another group of people to contact in your area are the Avon catalogue and the Betterware catalogue. And if Rosemary Connolly's still going around, doing their sort of products door to door, then those are the companies to get in touch with straight away. So go onto the Avon catalogue website. You can track down who your local rep is, or indeed you may have had from Betterware one of their glossy brochures left at your front door with a phone number on for the local distributor. Give them a call. Explain to them that you're a property investor and you're looking to work on a joint venture basis with a company that's already going door to door, and then meet up with them, buy them a coffee, buy them a cake, and ask them if they would happily place one of your A5 leaflets into the plastic envelopes that they use for their Betterware catalogues. And should an inquiry come in and should it become a project, then you will happily pay them £1,000. You have to understand that certainly in the Betterware catalogue instance, some of these plastic items that they sell, the local distributor is earning less than £1 per item. So having an extra stream of income or a multiple stream of wealth, you know, come into their business as a new offering should be something, as a business person, they should be interested in. It's worked for me in many areas around the 3 counties where we operate out of here, including and up as far as South Birmingham as well. There was a region over there. 5 years ago, we targeted it very heavily, and I worked with the Betterware distributor for pretty much 6 years, actually. Me saying 5, it was 6 years we were up there investing, and we got some amazing leads and business. Because it wasn't just about the distributor. Until I met the distributor, I wasn't aware that he actually had a team of other distributors below him. So he was the main distributor, and then he had this almost MLM pyramid type effect with multiple people. And what he very cleverly did was he took the £1,000 offer that I put out, and he got all of his distributors together and said, I'll pay you £500 for a lead if it comes in and becomes a completed project. Then what I found was he was ordering more and more, or booking, not ordering, I wasn't charging him for the leaflets, he was ordering at my expense more and more of the leaflets that went into the area. And that's how I found out he was getting his other downline to actually go out and do more leaflet deliveries. So we had 15, 20,000 leaflets at a time going out as a targeted leaflet, so a very specific individual style of leaflet, but all to that same area. And that's how we picked up lots and lots of business, both HMOs and also refurbishment deals. They do work. And the other thing is you never know what sort of deal is going to come at the end of that telephone call. And again, that's why, you know, I'm quite keen when I train individuals on certainly the 4-week intensive, is that you have the doorstep script, you have the information you need to, you know, turn around to somebody on the end of a telephone to tell them exactly what you need to know before you go out and, you know, potentially waste your time sitting in front of somebody who isn't a motivated seller. It's important you ask the right questions on the telephone so that you don't waste your time, because yes, time is money, but more importantly than that, time is wasted by investing your time and energy into what I call minimum wage activities. And a minimum wage activity is visiting somebody who quite clearly is not a motivated seller. They just wanted to sell their house, but they didn't give you all the information to start with. So very important you have some sort of script before you go ahead and visit people. So I had another question come in earlier, which was about fly posting. I'll just come back to this one. This comes in, and this has come in as an email to my support desk. And the question is, fly posting, is it a good idea for maximum coverage? What I would say, everybody, is fly posting is a good idea for to receive the maximum number of fines. I'm not too sure if all of you are aware, but actually fly posting is classed as an offence. It also comes under the littering regulations and legislations. So I am not an advocate of fly posting, sticking leaflets under people's windscreen wipers. I'm also not an advocate of ugly marketing. So, the bandit boards on lampposts and people's fencing and all sorts. If you can get inside someone's premises and put something in a window, I think that's fine. That's perfectly acceptable and very ethical advertising. But no, I would not recommend fly posting A4, A5 or A6 posters on windows, empty properties, or anything like that. I would seriously concentrate on finding a joint venture partner who is already going door to door in your local area, working with them, buying the leaflets, giving them to that individual and monitoring what they do with the leaflets. And that's a great way of cutting down on your expenditure. So I've just had a question coming in. Can I just ask, could everybody just put yes if you can hear me, please? Guys, if you can just go into that chat box there and just drop a Y if you can hear me, I'd be really grateful about that. Okay, I think there's someone that's just joined the webinar who maybe isn't picking up on the live event. There is a message at the top. You can actually just refresh your browser. If maybe you can hear me but you can't see any video, you can just refresh your browser. It's all controlled by YouTube and Google Hangouts, so it's all down to their technology. Anyway, I shall crack on for those that can obviously listen and hear me at the moment. Another question that came in was, how much do I pay for leaflet delivery? Well, I've just explained. I have a nationwide deal with door-to-door, so there are many areas that we can get covered sort of free of charge. There's also bear with me a second, I'm just going to help everybody else in a moment. There's also an opportunity, where individuals can do a joint venture. And the joint venturing is a very, very powerful strategy. And I'm just going to drop something on here for everybody. Bear with me 1 second, please. Okie dokie. I'm just going to put a thing on the screen for the last 10 minutes of the webinar, which is this one here. And I'll talk that through in a moment. But sorry, just to answer that question there, how much do I pay? The bottom line is I very rarely pay for the marketing of leaflet distribution because there are far more businesses you can link in with. And again, it's about what I do as the business builder. I will come into your business, we'll work together, somebody will take that last seat that's on the 8th of August, and then we'll be able to work together, build your business. I can teach you the exact strategies of how to approach somebody, what letters to send them, how to get them on board, how to engage them, because they want to grow their business. Even if you find somebody walking around your area that's already delivering, say, pizza leaflets, they may come from the pizza company and they may be employing them internally, but they may not be. They may be working for an external company. And having an ability to link in with a company that's already doing it is going to halve those costs of delivery for a start. You don't know who they are, you don't know what their deal is, you don't know what they're getting, but ultimately they're already out there walking the streets. And in the past, I have walked the streets myself many years ago. Certainly when we ran the nightclub all those years ago, one of the ways we drummed up a lot of business was, first of all, through leafleting. We were one of the only nightclubs that leafleted. And secondly, we were certainly the only nightclub in Worcestershire that used to send out birthday party packs. So I know what the power of being able to send you 6 weeks before your birthday a pack of free tickets to get free entry into the club on a Friday night, or a Thursday, which is actually our busiest birthday night, but it was our quietest sort of social night. So we backfilled Thursday being our quieter nights with these free birthday tickets in a pack. They got a free bottle of bubbly, which we put a special label around, and it was presented to the birthday boy or girl. You know, we really saw sales increase, and that's going back 30 years. And so I've always used this sort of direct marketing and also leafleting, which is direct marketing, of course, but having an envelope packed, you know, with, you know, Ms. Smith on it, or Mr. Smith, and it's, you know, it's your 18th birthday, congratulations. Bring your mates along to Worcester's Worcester's premier nightclub, and we were 2,500 capacity individuals with 2 laser light systems, the largest Yamaha sound system in the 3 counties. You know, it was a really big venue. So I do understand the power, and I can't stress enough to you listening in tonight, the power of using leaflets in your property business, starting from tonight. Absolutely. Oh yes, someone's just pinged over. The offer that you can see on your screen now is for a discount off the regular price. We obviously have an RRP price, and I just thought it was only fair, with everybody, you know, giving up their time tonight to come and watch my webinar, that there was something I could give back to yourself. So there is a £40 discount off a 10,000 leaflets order. That's just going to stand there for the next sort of 7 minutes. When the counter gets to 0, I'll be wrapped up in the webinar then, and I'll be looking for some Q&As. And I can see, appreciating everyone that was in the chat box there saying that they can hear everything. Thank you so much for that. We got Anish on there. Hello, Anish. Kimberly, Nick, Steve, Vincenzo, Gerb. Fantastic. Thank you all again for being here tonight. If there's anything you'd like to ask me, though, it really is important, guys. I want to give you maximum value, because I could waffle on for another hour about leaflets and, you know, how we post them and how we monitor the incoming messages and the automated phone system that I have that actually filters everybody out first. That's a lot of the information I also share on the 4-week intensive. You know, I'll give you all of these strategies and the business solutions, and more importantly, the companies you can go to straight away to just duplicate what I do. And that's what I'm told by a lot of individuals, is that I just teach them the individual thing. And I've got somebody outside the studio there. If you could see this, if I could turn this around, just going past my studio, by the way, this one is one of my home office studios. And for those who follow me, you'll know when I take a photo shot out of my window, I've got 16 acres of well, fields and woods here. So those that follow me, you'll know the shot. So down at the other end of my garden, I've just had basically the whole family, you know, waving and hooping and hollering, because they know I'm transmitting live tonight. So apologies for that. I'm getting a little bit red blushed, I think, but moving on. So yeah, if there's any questions that you have, anything you'd like to ask about leafleting, I'm just trying to think of some of the things that you might come across. If I think I have a question here. What are most successful for BMV deals? Well, Kim, it's a great question. It really is a great question. Every single item that you put through somebody's letterbox can give you a potential great BMV deal. The interesting thing is it, and I'm not too sure when you joined the webinar, right back at the beginning of the hour, what I mentioned was it's not so much, it's about the message that you give straight away. For example, if you saw this one here, so, you know, need to sell your house fast, okay? Somebody who needs to sell their house fast, you know, we'll look at that and go, well, I do need to sell my house fast. So it's not so much about the BMV deal, because BMV is one of those 3-letter acronyms that has been around the industry for a good few years, you know, since the property training companies came along. And yes, BMV stands for below market value. But, you know, once the crash, you know, the big credit crunch hit and all those property prices plummeted, they got to a certain point where actually you're buying it at that price today, or maybe a little bit higher. And really that is the BMV price. So it's not a case of that house is on the market at this much money. If I put a leaflet through, how much money can I get off? It may well be that that marketed price really is the value and the market value for that property today. So I'd take that on board. I mean, the other thing that I also teach Kimberly, so this is for everybody, but to answer Kimberly's question, is that I don't really look at BMV or houses that are already on the market with an estate agent, for example. And the very simple reason for that is that agents, even if you have a potential refurbishment property, agents do a very, very simple formula. They look at what the house is like now. They look at the house next door, which is done up, and they go, oh, that'll probably take about 25,000 to meet that condition, and then they just take the £25,000 off what the previous sales price has been for the done-up house. So putting that into figures, let's just suppose this house over here that's done up is £100,000, and the house next door needs £25,000 to make it look like that one. They'll put this on the market for £75,000. Now, working with estate agents, I won't go into tonight. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll create a different webinar in the future. If you'd like that, please put yes, because you'll enjoy that one about estate agents. But in reality, you want to be leafleting from tomorrow, so you're getting all sorts of property interest from all sorts of sellers. Yes, you'll have sellers that are just looking to sell their property, but you will have within that mixture motivated sellers. And depending on your expertise and the level of training and your negotiation skills, then that's really just down to individuals then to go, right, I copied Mark's strategy, I see how he does it, then try it and then secure the deal. Because if you follow me on social media, Kimberly, you'll see that all of those deals, well, certainly 40% of what I put on Facebook, I don't put my whole life on there, I put about 40% of my business life, is about joint venturing with people. Even people where you could call it a B&V deal, I've actually done a joint venture with them where I've taken over their debt, I've taken over their mortgage payments, I've got my design team in there and the builders, and then we just do a great big joint venture. And you know what? When you've added massive value to a project, whatever the purchase price was originally, I always share my profit over here with those vendors, because I just look at it and go, hey, it was their house to start with, and if they hadn't called me, I wouldn't even have this deal. So when I'm going to pull £116,000 out of a project, why shouldn't I have given those vendors, you know, some of the money? And part of what I do on the 4-week intensive is I share some of the option deals that I've done, the recent ones. I actually show completion statements from solicitors that show you how much money came out of the deal and how much was given back to the vendor. So it's a good question, BMV. I wouldn't personally get too hung up on it. Think about how you're going to service someone's needs with a solution, and then think, where are you going to get the funds from to fulfill that solution, or where are you going to get the team from, especially if it's a refurbishment property, how are you going to come up with the funds for that? I have another question that's popped in. Kimberly, I hope that's answered your question. I hope everybody got massive value from that. I have another question here. Bear with me, please. Would you tell your distributors not to post leaflets in letterboxes which have no junk mail signs? Anish, that's a great question. Now, I do a lot of campaigning. I help out with one of my friends has a business locally. I've got another friend who's a politician. For those who have followed me for a long time, you may know, or you may not know, I went into politics for a short time, and I actually did some canvassing and campaigning. And absolutely, if somebody has a specific notice on a letterbox and it says do not do something, ask yourself the question, why do you want to go against what they've asked you? And I think the simple answer is we have to respect those individuals. If you've got a pair of semis and you've got somebody here saying do not post anything through my post box, and you've got somebody here that doesn't have that sign, and you put your letter, a leaflet through that house next door, let's suppose these people have known each other for a while, and let's suppose that the person with the don't put anything in my post box is not a particularly approachable person, let's put it that way. But let's suppose they also have, in the future, a challenge with their property and they become a motivated seller of some sort. One would hope that the person here with the leaflet would mention it to this person, and you never know, may remember the name of the company, you may even still have the leaflet available, and he may pass it across. I would never ever instruct a distribution company to ignore someone's wishes. I think it is very disrespectful. I know what I'm like with junk mail. I do look at it, but you know what, as I said at the beginning of the hour, if it doesn't relate to me, I think everybody on this webinar tonight would say the same. If you get home and there's 3 or 4 pizza delivery company leaflets on your floor and you don't fancy a pizza that night, I think, balance of probability, and I'd suggest to everybody that you'll probably get those and put them in the bin. Property is slightly different, and certainly in an area where you've targeted, and that's what I talked earlier about, it's important to maximize your knowledge for a specific area and then target it with a specific leaflet. That's where you're going to get maximum value. That's where you're going to get maximum leads coming in, and that's where you start to build up your sales funnel. Because it's very important in the property industry to have a good sales funnel and not just to have one deal on the table at a time, and if that falls over, you've got nothing at all. Yeah, that's very, very hit and miss. So Anish, I hope that answered that question for you. Bear with me a second, please. Kimberly, thank you. The estate agents webinar, I will create one just for you, and I will even mention you in it. So for everybody on the call, please be on the lookout for my next webinar on estate agents. Vincenzo, the 4-week intensive, is that over the web? No, the first meeting is in the office in Worcester. That is the sort of 10-hour intensive, all around the table, going through lots of strategies, lots of property deals, and then obviously talking about doorstep scripts, lease options, how you link in with my legal team, because that's the other thing that I also highly recommend, and I covered this in a previous webinar, is that you don't use other people's lease option paperwork that they give away on these free Facebook groups and forums, for the very simple reason you only need one clause to be incorrect in that lease option. It'll be classed as a null and void contract. And if you took £80,000 off somebody 3 years ago and there's a loophole in the contract and they want that money back, you don't want somebody knocking on your door or getting a legal, being served with legal papers challenging the validity of that contract. So absolutely, use solicitors. And the one thing I do is I put you straight in touch with my business solicitor, who has been specifically a business solicitor for over 30 years. So that's the one thing that I would say. And the rest of it, Vincenzo, the 1-day intensive is in the office, and then the remaining 3 weeks we do over Skype calls. So we all get together on a Wednesday, normally around about 7 o'clock, and we go through live deals. And we also, or certainly from my side, I make sure that you are held accountable for everything that we've covered. So you'll come to me on a Saturday. By the Wednesday, there will be some homework you need to have done. By the following Wednesday, we'll be already motoring down towards doing a deal. And by the 4th week, you should have something in place that you're bringing to me to say, Mark, I found this, and can we fund it? Or I found this and I've closed the deal and I need the funds. As I had somebody do within 3 days of one of my intensives. They came to see me on the Saturday, and on the Tuesday they closed a deal out and they required funding for a refurbishment project. So that's how quickly things can work for individuals. Bear with me a second. I do rent-to-rent businesses. I have a number of rent-to-rent HMOs. I see the leaflets seem to be geared to only buying and selling houses. I'm looking for motivated landlords wanting to rent out. Do you do such leaflets? Yes, we do. Another question from Vincenzo. Yes, we do. Can't remember the template number, but there is a number of leaflets which mention specifically geared towards landlords. What I would say, Vincenzo, is as a sort of side note, is don't focus too much on leafleting all the areas looking for motivated landlords. If you want to do that, join the National Landlords Association. I think their basic single membership is only about £99 a year. But if you go and join the NLA, you get your membership card and you get to access all of the NLA meetings that happen obviously over a year. And that's what I do. I mean, I don't go to take properties off them. If I have a problem one, obviously I will. But majority, I'm just going there to have a chat as an NLA member, both because we have a large family portfolio of properties, so we have to be part of an institution. But secondly, to go and meet other fellow landlords and say, hey guys, how's it going in your, what are you gearing up for? What are you not doing? And I have gained leads from those, mainly for refurbishment projects, because there's quite a few in Worcester. There's quite a lot of elderly landlords. Excuse me a second. So there are quite a few elderly landlords in Worcester, but I would definitely recommend for that sort of £99, if you go to nla.org.uk, I think they are now, just tracking down National Landlords Association, have a look around, click on the membership and go and do it that way. You can go to meetings like PIN meetings. I tend to find in my experience that there's a lot more individuals looking for property training than landlords that are looking to dispose of their property. The other thing, of course, you could do is to link in with a letting agent. I would say go for one of the independents rather than one of the nationals. It's always easier to do a deal with an independent. But sit down with them, have a chat with them, let them know what it is you'd like to do, what you're already doing, what's working for you. Have some case studies for how that's helped to the landlords, because individuals like to work with figures. It would be no good just walking into somebody you've never met before and say, I can do a rent-to-rent on this, and it means this, this, and this, and your client's going to get a little bit more money. Be as specific as you can, because that letting agent will then have to pass on your information to the landlord, or of course do an overview of the deal and get the landlord to come into the office and be on the on the territory that, of the letting agent that's looking after him. So I hope that that's worked as well for you. Do you have any more questions? Okay, I've got nothing on the chat box. Guys, anybody else like to ask me anything? We've been operating now for, oh, it's just coming up for an hour. So there's 2 or 3 minutes. I'm happy to just hang on to see if you're going to type a quick question to me about the leafleting. The offer on the screen, I think, has ended, so I'm not sure yet. I haven't seen the statistics for how many people click through to secure their order today. As I said, it was a one-off as a thank you from me to yourselves for being on the webinar for the hour, and it was a £40 discount. If you missed the offer, if it's jumped off the screen, and I would say Kimberly's just come back. Hello, Kimberly. You've disappeared and you've come back. I was just saying that the offer for the leaflets has dropped off the automated offer, which pinged up. If you would still like to benefit from a £40 discount off the first order, that's the 10,000 leaflet order, then by all means just send me an email and get your pen and paper ready, and I'll send you, I'll tell you in a moment what the link is. But you can just email the support team, and I'll make sure that the support team pass it on to my graphics team, and they'll ensure that that's done for you. So that's just a little thank you from myself, guys, because I know you've been sitting here for an hour. I believe I've covered everything within leaflets. If you've gotten all the questions, if you don't think I've missed anything, then that means my job has been done well. It is live, as you know, so I am sitting here explaining everything that I do on a daily basis about leaflets, but mainly I've taken all the hassle and stress away for you. Just order the leaflets through smartpropertyleaflets.com, have them delivered to your door. Make sure in a moment, if you haven't already got it, you go and pick up your free insider report from the website. That'll talk to you and give you all the information and paperwork that you need. Then you just need to strategize where you're delivering into and which area. That comes down to you knowing your area yourself, or of course, if you come on my 4-week intensive, then I'll be able to talk your area through with you. And we look at the screens in the office and we do some real-time land searching and property searching and using Google Streets and having a look what's going on. I also teach adverse possessions, so animus possidendi, bono vacantia, cover those as well. Rent-to-rent, HMOs, single lets, overseas lets, repossessions. I talk about how I stop repossessions then at Worcester County Court. I can walk you down to the court from my offices. It's in the same street. So, you know, there are lots of things that I cover on the one-day intensive. But the main thing is tonight, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll just have a quick look at the chat box in a second, just to see if there's anything else. Darshan's joined us and asked, what would you expect to pay for delivering leaflets? Darshan, just so you're aware, my friend, I'm not sure what time you joined the webinar. I covered that probably about halfway through, talking about joint venturing with individuals rather than paying a flat rate. I'm in a fortunate position in my business that I've got a national deal with Door to Door, who are a leaflet delivery specialist. You will get a link from the system to take you back to what they call the replay. So you will be able to replay this. It is being recorded live by YouTube through the Google Hangout platform. So you will be able to follow this through again. The link won't be on there, though, my friends, for the offer for the leaflets. So if you'd like to take advantage and save yourself 30% off 10,000 leaflets, just send a quick email through to, get your pen and paper ready, send it through to support@productsupporthelpdesk.com. So that's support@productsupporthelpdesk.com. Say it once more for those that are writing slowly. support@productsupporthelpdesk.com. And that is the email address to my support team who work for me 24/7. I'm not sure if any of you are aware that my good business friend Davin Michaels owns the largest outsourcing company in the Philippines. He has multiple offices and about 350 assistants that work in his business. And I've used Davin's services ever since I stood on stage and spoke with him and worked with him. And I've met him in America, and he comes over to London on business, and I meet up with Davin in London. There is, I'll give you a cheeky link actually. Get your pen and paper ready. I wasn't going to do this one tonight. Go to a website which is www.outsourcethis.co.uk. Okay, so it's a cheeky link, www.outsourcethis.co.uk. And that is a special link that Davin gave me a number of years ago. and it'll actually enable you to download some free products and some free tools and some free videos, all about outsourcing your business in the future. I'm not sure where you are level-wise, guys, in your business, because I've not had the pleasure of meeting all of you. I hope you take advantage of my 4-week intensive. Value for money doesn't come into it. If you clicked on the link, well, actually, it's already gone, so somebody did purchase it. So the person that purchased it tonight, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Look forward to seeing you on the 8th of August. The offer for the £40 off 10,000 leaflets, that was support@productsupporthelpdesk.com. And if you've missed that, then that will be in the replay link, which, as I say, you'll get in a very short time after I close out this particular broadcast. So just looking over at the chat box again, Vincenzo knows Davin. Awesome. He's a great guy. And if you're following me online, Vincenzo, you'll see lots of times Davin and I have met up and hooked up together as well. Oh, and Vincenzo just asking, he's away on holiday in August. Will the 4-week intensive be done again? Vincenzo, thank you for asking. The answer is I never planned this. It's not that I'm a property trainer per se, where I need to, I don't run a training business and the money goes to run the training company, if that makes sense. When I work with individuals on my 4-week intensive, it's because I'm starting a business relationship to actually invest my cash into new deals. You could say it's the lazy man's way to riches for me, because you'll be doing all the legwork and I'll just put the cash in and we'll split the profit. I hope that's all right. It seems to have worked for me for over 25 years. So to answer your question, I will be running the course, but there isn't a set date. I may do one in September. I may not. If you're interested and genuinely interested, drop my support team an email. This is for everybody. If you're genuinely interested, everybody, I'm coming on the 4-week intensive. Just drop that email, support@productsupporthelpdesk.com. In the subject line, just put that you want to reserve. You want some more information on the 4-week intensive, and my team will look after you from there. I hope that's acceptable for everybody. And Darshan, that's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Well, guys, girls, and everybody that's tuned in, thank you again. I hope I've given you some massive value on how to use your property leaflets correctly. Thank you for taking time out again tonight. And as I say, you will have a replay link hit you within the next hour or two. Straight away, it comes straight from Google Hangouts and the platform that I'm using nowadays to do my webinars. Just so you know, the webinar platform is actually written by 2 very good internet marketing friends of mine, Mike Filsame and Andy Jenkins. I used to be one of Mike Filsame's top affiliates. I used to have 300 websites on the internet. That's why I can show everybody how to create wealth off the internet. If you're not into property all of a sudden and you want to make money on the internet, I can help you with that as well. But that's how I know Mike and his product here, which is Webinar Jam Studio, which is what you've linked onto tonight. But for now, I'm all talked out. We've just hit the 1 hour and 2 minute mark. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure presenting to you. Thank you for your questions. I do enjoy getting some feedback. If you've ever done a webinar before, it's quite strange, sort of been on transmit for an hour. So great. Thank you so much for the feedback. We've got Vincenzo, Darshan, Kimberly, who else we got down here? John, Anish, Gerb, and Leon, and Nick, and Steve, and I've just run out of scrolling space. But guys and girls, thank you so much again for stopping by. Look forward to helping you with your property leaflet questions. You've got my support desk's details. Just go out there and do it, guys. You're going to make an absolute fortune. And if you follow me, I'll help you make even more money. And remember, I invest in my students. So guys and girls, thank you so much. Mark Walker bowing out. Thank you.